David, your players have been consistently saying, we just want to get to the playoffs. We just want to get to the playoffs. Is there any danger in that way of thinking?
Sure. I think we've treated the regular season as something where we're going to flip a switch to some degree. Most of that brought on by injuries and the change in lineups and all of the things that come with that. Some of it by the fact that we tend to think we're better than we are at times. I think you've seen we have the capability in the regular season to be very, very good when we're all connected and dedicated to the same thing. So I think we're all hopeful that the common goal of the playoffs is going to help us. But I'd be lying if I didn't say there's reason for concern. Sure. I mean, we had a very rocky, adverse regular season. And in many ways, that's a real blessing for us because it's how we like it. This team is much more comfortable with its back against the wall, and when everybody says we can't, I've said it now for 3 years, we're really bad from the front, and I think we proved that again. So again, I'm really optimistic that we have the right people in the room that are going to react the way they always have to adversity, but sure, you'd love to go through the regular season 82-0 and have everybody sing your praises, and that's certainly not what we did. So
when we talked to you a month ago, you had expressed similar thoughts after you signed Sanders. Have you seen that improvement you were looking for at that point?
At times, sure, and at times I think we were worse even than we were before then. But again, a lot of that is driven by lineups and health and injuries and the fact that we literally had, I want to say, one practice the entire month of March. That's almost impossible to get new pieces on the same page. And so, to a huge degree, if there's fault associated with our regular season, it's mine because we're signing our 21st and 22nd players right now. That was not done by accident, and I certainly didn't do it alone. But when you couple that with the perfect storm of no practices for an entire month after you've added people, you're going to look pretty bad. And then when some of those people who are supposed to play get hurt, it's going to look even worse. And so we certainly lived up to all of that. There's no question.
Can you sort of walk through the Larry Sanders saga the last month or so? Decide to sign him?
Yeah, sure.
And then, suddenly gone.
I'd be disheartened if we call it a saga. I think Larry did everything we asked him to do. He worked incredibly hard. Our coaches of the D-League and Mike Gansey, who runs our D-League team, did a great job of getting him minutes and getting him into a position where he felt more comfortable and had his legs under him. I think we just got to the point where we realized he's pretty far away from playing meaningful NBA games. And if we knew that we weren't going to play him at all, it's difficult to feel good about holding on to him heading into a year where he's non-guaranteed. It's not fair to him either. So I think we just made a decision to do something different now rather than play it out and know he wouldn't play. So
yeah, what did you see that sort of made you realize he was a little further
I think
away
just timing-wise. I mean, you take a guy whose whole thing is shot blocking, which is a timing function. Defensive player of the year. When he's right, he's special good. And to not have the timing of that for not playing for 2 years, we just didn't have enough time here for him to get enough time to get comfortable. And if I know that, if I know he's not going to play, even when Tristan's not in games, then at that point we have to act on it. And it's not fair to the coaches to keep somebody around that won't play. So.
What did you like about Tavares?
Well, size, certainly. I mean, he gives us a true center. Even Larry's, not 7'2", 7'3", and we've played against Walter in the playoffs this year in the D-League. We watched him all year. Jerry Stackhouse, his coach, did an amazing job with him. He's radically improved in terms of his comfort with the speed of the game. The Toronto organization's done an amazing job with him just in terms of his total human development, language, all of those things. Walter's a great kid who's about all the right stuff, and we have him on a long-term deal now in a way that we're excited about growing the center. As rarely as they're used, you do need them. So we're excited. We really like him as a human being as well.
And Griff, everything you just outlined, changes to the roster, injuries, etc. Do you feel like you guys are more vulnerable going into these playoffs than you have been in the past?
Not if we're the good version of us. We'll be better. We're more talented than we were at this time last year. We've been through more. We're more hardened and seasoned than we were at this time last year. This team lost 2 starters and made it to the finals and was 2 games away from winning a championship 2 years ago. And most of these same guys are the ones who did that. So I'm no less confident. I'm more pissed off we put ourselves in this position because we certainly didn't need to. But damn, we're good when we put ourselves here. So I hope that's what we do.
Griff, you signed Dahntay last year at this time, but the circumstances around that were a little bit different with him playing in the D-League. So what gives you confidence that this is somebody that can help you now, given the fact that he hasn't played basketball?
Dahntay keeps himself in elite condition, which is one thing that's really meaningful. He's always in good shape. He's certainly not in basketball game shape. That'd be disingenuous to say that. But I think what Dahntay is the voice we needed in the locker room. Again, my fault. I think we underestimated the amount that really mattered. He was a big part of what we did in the playoffs because there was never any slippage. You know, no matter who you are, Dahntay's going to make it clear that you're not holding up your end of the bargain. And we missed that. And so I'm really excited he was available to us and still wanted to be part of what we were doing. And if it's any indication, team pictures were the most vocal we've been in a long time today. And Dahntay had only been on the ground for about 45 minutes. So I'm excited.
I don't know the degree of sprain that Tristan has, but what's the concern level with him going into the postseason with that kind of an injury?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, degree of sprain. He had a really significant sprain. He's going to brace it and do those things. We don't have any concern that he won't play, in large part because it's Tristan. He's got a very high pain tolerance. We've got a great medical staff that's going to do everything they can to put him in the right position to succeed, and I certainly expect him to. We don't have any reason to expect he won't, but a large part of that's because it's Tristan. You could put a lot of people in this situation and we wouldn't have the positive feelings we have about his outcome, and Tristan's a warrior. It's what he does, so he's going to be great.
When you signed Larry, you mentioned it being more of a long-term play. With Walter, is it the same situation?
Yeah, so his is an even longer-term deal. We got 2 more years after this on Walter's deal. Walter's younger. Walter's just a totally different type of player in terms of what he represents as a true center. Larry was somebody we saw as being more of a Tristan Thompson similarity, maybe, in terms of his ability to switch and get out and move defensively. And that takes a lot more work and athleticism than he was ready to do. Walter's been doing exactly what he's going to do for us. And so he's just more game ready to do what we need him to do, I think. And it just wasn't fair to Larry to try to take him from 2 years and say, okay, now the spotlight of the finals is on you. We couldn't do that. So.
Did you have a conversation with him about that?
Yeah.
What was that like?
He's very understanding of it and super grateful for the opportunity. He's a very positive kid. He said all the right things. I'm really disappointed for him that it's not something where he was able to ramp himself up. And again, you're talking about a guy who's changed his whole life in the last couple of years. And some environments are not the best environment to do that in. And again, he's going to be very good, and he's moving in all of the right directions. But again, when our varsity needs to put you in the game for 30 minutes, they need to put you in the game. And we just weren't in that position right now.
Was this something that you saw, and did you talk with the coach or any of the guys?
Yeah, we talked about it. We all talked about it on the flight back from Miami and discussed it. And it was something that just, again, I think we all agreed that he wasn't going to play. And in that circumstance, it's just best to cut bait.
Is there a chance of bringing him back for training camp next year?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, we're certainly not signing off from the Larry Sanders experience. We like Larry. So, yeah, absolutely. If it worked out that he was in game shape and ready to go, we would certainly entertain that.
Who first raised the concern? Was it your idea first, or was it somebody else?
Yeah. And again, a lot of it has to do with, on your 15th guy, if he's not going to play, then what's the sum total of what you get? And in the case of Tavares, the sum total of what we get is a kid who we're really high on long-term with a longer contract that I don't know won't play in the playoffs. And I was pretty confident Larry wasn't going to. So there was a risk-reward factor involved in all of it, and I think we just decided we had more faith in putting the time into Walter at this point just because of the time away from the game.
Walter really have an 8-foot wingspan?
Yes. Walter's one of very few people that I believe can dunk flat-footed. And if they, that'll be cool in a circus, but that's not what he's here to do. Walter's really, really special as a shot blocker. I think he averaged 2.7 blocks in 24 minutes a game. That's highly unusual. So we're excited about having that in the back line potentially. Whether he actually appears in a playoff game, I don't know. But I know he's going to make practices a whole hell of a lot more competitive, and that's really important to us because, as we've said all along, because we had no practice time, these playoff practices are going to be really meaningful. And they're going to be live and a lot of up and down. And the more competitive we can make them and the more challenging it is to finish in the paint in these practices, the better it'll be for everybody.
2017 Cavs Academy summer camps are set to tip off. Improve your game and develop your basketball skills with the official Cavaliers Youth Basketball Development Coaching Team. Week-long Cavs camps are located throughout Ohio and Pennsylvania for boys and girls ages 5 to 14 of all skill levels. All athletes will receive expert instruction, individual player evaluations, and a Cavs Academy uniform and basketball. Campers will have the chance to showcase their abilities at the end of camp skills competition. Register today at Cavs.com/Cavs Academy.